The swing set moves on its own. The slide glows faintly under the streetlight. And somewhere between the monkey bars and the sandbox, something is watching you back. Playgrounds were supposed to be safe. Places where laughter echoed louder than fear, where scraped knees were the worst thing that could happen. But not every playground closes when the sun goes down. And not every shadow that moves across the blacktop belongs to a child. Tonight, I'm sharing 6 accounts, 6 real experiences, from people who returned to places they thought they knew. Places that held memories of birthday parties, recess, and summer afternoons. But when they came back, years later, after dark, or just at the wrong time, they found something waiting. Something that didn't belong. Something that remembered them. These aren't urban legends. These aren't creepypastas. These are first-hand testimonies from people who lived through moments they still can't explain. And if you've ever felt that pull, that strange urge to revisit a place from your childhood, you might want to listen closely. Because playgrounds don't forget. If you're drawn to slow-burn horror rooted in real encounters, the kind that doesn't rely on jump scares, but leaves something behind, subscribe to the Dark Index and turn on notifications. Because some stories aren't meant to be told out loud, and the ones that are, tend to follow you. I was 17 when I went back to Ridgewood Park. It was late October, maybe 2 weeks before Halloween, and I was with my girlfriend at the time. We'd been driving around aimlessly, the way teenagers do when they don't want to go home yet. She suggested we stop by the old playground where we both used to go as kids. It sounded harmless. Nostalgic, even. We pulled into the empty parking lot around 10:30 at night. The place was completely dark except for one streetlight near the entrance. The swings hung still. The slide gleamed dully in the distance. Everything looked smaller than I remembered, the way childhood places always do. We walked toward the swings first. She sat down on one, and I stood behind her, giving her a lazy push. We were laughing about something stupid, some memory from middle school, when I noticed the other swing moving. Not swaying. Moving. Back and forth. Rhythmically. Like someone was sitting in it. I stopped pushing her. She noticed too. "Is there wind?" she asked. There wasn't. The air was completely still. The trees around the park weren't even rustling. But that swing kept going. Steady. Deliberate. Like someone was pumping their legs. She got off her swing and stepped back toward me. We both just stood there, staring. And then, I swear to God, the swing slowed down. Gradually. The way it would if someone dragged their feet to stop. And then it stopped completely. I felt this cold wash over me. Not from the air. From inside. Like my body knew something my brain hadn't caught up to yet. "Let's go," she whispered. I nodded. We started walking back toward the car. But as we passed the jungle gym, I heard it. A voice. Quiet. Soft. Almost sing-song. "Come play." We both froze. I looked at her. Her face had gone pale. "Did you?" I started. "Yes." It came again. Closer this time. "Come play with me." It sounded like a child. A little girl, maybe 6 or 7 years old. But there was something wrong with the tone. It was too flat. Too patient. Like it had all the time in the world. I grabbed her hand and we bolted. We didn't look back. Didn't stop until we were in the car with the doors locked. I fumbled with the keys, my hands shaking so bad I almost dropped them. The engine finally turned over and I floored it out of that parking lot. As we pulled onto the main road, she looked back through the rear window. "Stop," she said. Stop the car. What? No. Just stop. I pulled over onto the shoulder. She was staring back toward the park, her face lit by the glow of the streetlight behind us. There's someone standing there, she said. I looked in the rearview mirror. At first, I didn't see anything. Just the dark outline of the jungle gym. The swings. The slide. And then I saw it. A small figure. Standing perfectly still near the swings. Too small to be an adult. Too still to be a kid. It didn't move. Didn't wave. Just stood there, facing the road. Facing us. I hit the gas and we didn't stop again until we were back in town. I never went back to Ridgewood Park. A few years later, I heard they tore it down. Said the equipment was old and dangerous. But I wonder if that's really why. I wonder if someone else heard that voice. I saw that figure. I felt that cold. Because I still remember the way that swing moved. The way it stopped. Like someone got off. This happened when I was in college. I was home for winter break, and one night I couldn't sleep. I'd been tossing and turning for hours, so I decided to go for a walk. Stupid, I know. It was nearly 2 in the morning. But I grew up in a small town where nothing ever happened, so I didn't think much of it. I ended up walking past the elementary school I used to attend. There was a small playground behind it, nothing fancy. A couple swings, a slide, a merry-go-round. I hadn't been back there in years. For some reason, I decided to cut through the schoolyard. Maybe it was nostalgia. Maybe I was just bored. But as I got closer to the playground, I started to feel uneasy. The merry-go-round was spinning. Slowly. Silently. Like someone had just given it a push and walked away. I stopped walking. I stood there at the edge of the blacktop, watching it turn. There was no wind. No one was around. Just me and that spinning platform, creaking faintly in the dark. I thought about leaving. I should have left. But instead, I walked closer. As I approached, the merry-go-round started to slow down. And that's when I saw it. There were handprints on the metal bars. Small handprints. Like a child's. But they weren't just dirty, they were wet. Fresh. Glistening under the faint glow of the security light from the school. I reached out slowly, my heart pounding, and touched one of the bars. It was ice cold. And damp. I pulled my hand back and looked around. The playground was empty. The school was dark. There was no one. But I could feel it, that horrible, creeping sensation that I wasn't alone. And then I heard it. Laughter. Faint. Distant. Coming from somewhere behind me. I turned around fast. Nothing. Just the empty field leading back toward the street. But the laughter didn't stop. It got louder. Closer. And it wasn't joyful. It was wrong. Hollow. Like it was coming from something that didn't know what laughter was supposed to sound like. I started backing away. The merry-go-round was still there. Completely still. But the handprints were still there, still wet, and I could swear there were more of them than before. The laughter stopped. And then I heard footsteps. Light. Fast. Running across the blacktop behind me. I didn't look. I just ran. I ran harder than I've ever run in my life, across the field, through the gate, down the street. I didn't stop until I was back inside my house with every door locked. I looked out the window toward the direction of the school. And I saw it. A figure. Small. Standing at the corner of the block. Not moving. Just watching my house. I closed the curtains and didn't look again. The next morning, I walked past the school in daylight. The merry-go-round was rusted and still. The bars were dry. There were no handprints. But I know what I saw. I know what I heard. And I know that whatever was out there that night, it followed me home. I'm a security guard. I work night shifts at a shopping complex on the edge of town. It's a boring job, mostly. I walk the perimeter, check the locks, make sure no one's trying to break in. But about 6 months ago, something happened that made me seriously consider quitting. There's a small public park next to the complex. It has a playground, a couple benches, and some walking paths. During the day, it's full of kids and families. At night, it's completely empty. Or it's supposed to be. One night, around 3 in the morning, I was doing my usual sweep of the back lot when I noticed something strange. The playground lights were on. Not the street lights, the actual playground lights, the ones mounted on the equipment itself. They're motion activated, designed to turn on when someone gets close. But no one should have been there. I grabbed my flashlight and walked over. As I got closer, I could hear the swings creaking. Not like they were blowing in the wind. Like someone was swinging on them. I called out. No answer. I stepped onto the rubberized ground and swept my flashlight across the area. The swings were empty. The slide was empty. The climbing structure was empty. But the lights were still on. And the swings were still moving. I felt a chill run down my spine. I'm not the kind of guy who believes in ghosts, but standing there, watching those swings move on their own, I didn't know what else to think. And then I heard it. Singing. A child's voice. Soft. Sweet. Coming from the tunnel slide. I walked toward it slowly, my flashlight shaking in my hand. The singing got louder as I approached. It was a nursery rhyme. One I recognized but couldn't quite place. I crouched down and shined my light into the tunnel. Nothing. But the singing didn't stop. It was coming from inside the slide. From somewhere I couldn't see. I backed away. I wanted to run, but my legs wouldn't move. And then the singing stopped. The lights went out. All at once. The whole playground went dark. I stood there in the silence, my breath coming in short, shallow gasps. And then I felt it. A hand. Small. Cold. Gripping my ankle. I screamed and kicked out, stumbling backward. My flashlight fell and rolled across the ground, the beam spinning wildly. I scrambled to pick it up and shined it back toward the slide. There was nothing there. But I could still feel it. The cold. The pressure. Like tiny fingers had pressed into my skin. I ran. I didn't file a report. I didn't tell my supervisor. I just left the area and didn't go back for the rest of my shift. The next night, I checked the playground again from a distance. The lights were off. Everything looked normal. But I haven't walked through that park since. And I never will. When I was 14, my friends and I used to sneak out at night and hang out at this old playground near the train tracks. It was run down, half forgotten, the kind of place parents told their kids not to go. Which, of course, made it exactly where we wanted to be. One night in late summer, 4 of us met up there around midnight. We were just messing around, sitting on the swings, talking about nothing. It was warm out, and the air smelled like cut grass and diesel from the trains. Everything was fine until my friend Jake noticed something. "Hey," he said, pointing toward the far end of the playground. "Who's that?" We all looked. There was a kid standing by the seesaw. Just standing there. Facing away from us. "Probably just some other kid," I said. "At midnight?" Jake shot back. We all went quiet. The kid didn't move. Didn't turn around. Just stood there, completely still. "Hey!" Jake called out. "You good?" No response. We got up and started walking toward him. Slowly. The closer we got, the more wrong it felt. The kid was small, maybe 8 or 9 years old. He was wearing old clothes. Like, really old. A striped shirt and shorts that looked like they were from the 70s. "Hey, kid," I said. "You lost?" He didn't respond. Didn't even twitch. And then he turned around. His face was pale. Too pale. His eyes were dark and sunken, like he hadn't slept in days. And he was smiling. Not a normal smile. A wide, unnatural grin that stretched across his face like it had been carved there. We all froze. "Run," someone whispered. We didn't need to be told twice. We bolted. All 4 of us, sprinting toward the exit. I could hear footsteps behind us. Fast. Too fast. Like whoever, or whatever, it was gaining on us. I looked back. The kid was running after us. Still smiling. His arms hung stiffly at his sides, but his legs moved in these jerky, unnatural strides. We made it to the fence and scrambled over. I was the last one up, and as I pulled myself over the top, I felt something grab my shoe. I kicked hard and my shoe came off. I didn't stop. I hit the ground on the other side and kept running. We didn't stop until we were blocks away, gasping for air, drenched in sweat. What the hell was that? Jake panted. None of us had an answer. The next day, I went back to get my shoe. I don't know why. Maybe I thought it had all been in our heads. The shoe was still there. Sitting in the middle of the playground. But next to it, in the dirt, were small footprints. Leading away from the fence. And they didn't stop at the edge of the playground. They led into the woods. I'm a teacher. I work at an elementary school in a rural part of Oregon. Last year, I stayed late one evening to finish grading papers. It was early November, so it got dark around 5:30. By the time I left, it was almost 7. As I walked to my car, I passed by the school playground. It's fenced in, gated, locked after hours. But as I walked by, I heard something that made me stop. A child crying. I turned and looked through the fence. At first, I didn't see anyone. But then I spotted a small figure sitting on the bottom of the slide, hunched over, shoulders shaking. My first thought was that a student had been left behind. It's happened before, parents running late, kids hiding during pickup. I unlocked the gate and walked over. "Hey, sweetie," I called out gently. "Are you okay?" The crying stopped. The figure didn't move. I got closer. "It's okay. I'm a teacher here. Let's call your parents, alright?" Still no response. I crouched down a few feet away. "Can you tell me your name?" Slowly, the figure lifted its head. It wasn't a child. I don't know what it was. The face was wrong. The proportions were off. The eyes were too big. The mouth is too wide. It looked like someone had tried to make a child out of clay and got it almost right, but not quite. It stared at me. Unblinking. And then it smiled. I stumbled backward, my heart hammering in my chest. I turned and ran for the gate. Behind me, I heard laughter. High-pitched. Gleeful. Echoing across the empty playground. I slammed the gate shut and locked it. I didn't look back. I got in my car and drove straight home. The next morning, I checked the playground. Nothing. No signs anyone had been there. But when I walked past the slide, I saw something scratched into the metal. 2 words. Come back. This is the most recent one. It happened 3 months ago. I'm a photographer. I do a lot of urban exploration, abandoned places, that sort of thing. I'd heard about an old playground that had been closed for years after a kid drowned in the nearby pond. The whole area had been fenced off and forgotten. I went there one evening to get some shots. The light was perfect, golden hour, long shadows, overgrown grass. The playground itself was in rough shape. Rusted swings. Cracked slide. Graffiti everywhere. I was setting up my camera when I noticed something strange. There were fresh footprints in the dirt. Small ones. Like a child's. I followed them. They led to the merry-go-round. And sitting in the center of it, facing away from me, was a little girl. She was humming. A soft, tuneless melody. "Hey," I called out. "You shouldn't be here. It's not safe." She stopped humming. But she didn't turn around. "Are you lost?" I asked, stepping closer. She finally turned her head. Just her head. Her body stayed facing forward. Her eyes were black. Completely black. No whites. No pupils. And she whispered, "You're the one who's lost." I backed away. My hands were shaking. I grabbed my camera and ran. I didn't stop running until I was back in my car. When I got home, I checked the photos I'd taken. In every single one, she was there. Standing in the background. Staring directly at the camera. Even in the shots I took before I saw her. Remember this, not everything that calls out to you wants you to come back. Follow the dark index for more accounts pulled from places that don't show up on maps, and don't always let people leave unchanged.